work. So make sure you have power, your computers are working, and we're going to search for some OER. We've talked a lot about it so far today, and so that's part of this workshop that we're going to do. I'll just do without my slides. I don't need slides, right? I'd like to introduce to you also, is it on? Yes. I'd like to introduce to you other folks from my team. Fred Neely, who is walking over there, he is part of the Affordable Learning Solutions team and focusing on our marketing and strategies of website development and so forth, and was a former director of the bookstore at Long Beach State for how many years? 26 years, yeah. Lots of experience with books and bookstores and publishing. And then also Naomi Moy, who is a librarian extraordinaire on at this campus at Dominguez Hills, is going to speak about how the libraries are also helping out our faculty in finding OER. Sorry, I have to keep this close. So let's see, where was I going to start? With the Affordable Learning Solutions organization or initiative, we partner with several entities within the CSU. One of our main principle is that we focus on choice, affordability, and accessibility. So from the perspective of choice, that means a very broad spectrum of resources, course materials. And so we have partnerships with the bookstores, with the libraries, and with our own OER type content that we have through merlot.org. And you heard a little bit about coolfored.org, which I'm a co-PI on for the Hewlett Grant project. So we're going to go look at those for your specific disciplines in a few minutes, maybe. So really quickly, the bookstores are a part of our partnership because part of the spectrum of choice is that not all materials are open quite yet or available, but there are discounts one can negotiate, leveraging the size of the CSU, which is what we've done with a lot of our Rent Digital partners. So in as much as the Rent Digital program provides 60% off for our students for specific titles that they have provided us in their selections, and they are only available for the 18 weeks or whatever the semester is available. Students are saving quite a bit there. And the other aspect of the bookstore has provided our students is the used book program and the buyback program and some of the other rental programs they have. They have helped us save $30 million within the CSU. So the bookstores are committed, and that's why we partner with them. The other aspect of what they do on their websites is provide a link to the Rent Digital agreements that we have with Cengage and some of the other organizations so that students and faculty can find the discounted titles more easily. And then, once the titles are selected, then sometimes in the bookstore, how many of you go to the bookstore before the semester starts? Oh, you're brave. Good job. I always a little nervous, because they're so busy and full and long lines. But what the bookstores are doing is putting shelf tags up next to the books where there are Rent Digital options. And so, again, alerting the students to another option or a choice when they're purchasing their course materials. So that's one of the activities that we support with Affordable Learning Solutions. The other activity is the libraries. We have a nice relationship with all of our librarians. It helps that our Jerry Hanley, who is our Vice Chancellor, runs the organization that we're a part of. It also runs all the library databases for the CSU. As I said earlier with ALS, one of our principles is choice, and so a student can still buy the book, but then there's an alternative option in the library for free. So here's an example of what the Dominguez Hills and what Naomi has organized here for the faculty to view, and then also at San Jose State, they're doing something very similarly. And Monica, you're here from LA, and are you doing something similarly as well, right? You're getting the list of books from the bookstore, perusing, crawling through your databases, and then putting up a list of resources and notifying the faculty that perhaps their book is available in the eBrary or in the library databases. Okay, so since we kind of started discombobulatedly, I'm just going to continue to skip through things. So we've talked about library resources. We've talked about what is available through our digital partners, our Rent digital partners, such as the publishers. I didn't mention that we also do have publisher or relationships with our custom publishing services, and we also Fred was very instrumental in getting many of these agreements together to also help faculty who want to put together their own type of packets, and also with a discount. Softchalk is more of a publishing tool. How many of you have heard of Softchalk, where you can be creating your own learning objects for your course? Xanadu, we've had several webinars on what they offer, and if you're interested, take a look on their website. RedShelf also is an aggregator of ebooks, but it has a publishing section, and we helped a faculty member at Long Beach State publish a book that's now being distributed in and outside the CSU and in and outside the state as well. So those are services that are found on our website that we provide through Affordable Learning. So when we're talking about OER, there are lots of resources available. And you can go to many of these locations to find or to look for the resources that support your class. Or you can start with Merlot, merlot.org. And Merlot provides it's not a library, it's more of a curated catalog of over 66,000 free and open resources, not just textbooks. The open textbook library in Merlot is 3,600. So there are quite a few there, and we're going to take a look at that in a few minutes. So I wanted to show you one of the tools that we have that searches Merlot very quickly. It's called the Isbn Finder. And it's on our website. And it's also, we can give this widget to anybody to put on their websites, and several of the ALS coordinators on the campuses have. And so what the instructor does is enter their ISBN number, and then what happens is it scrolls or crawls through Merlot and then provides you related materials based on the ISBN number. So here's an example of Norton's Anthology of Western Literature, typing in the ISBN number for that, and then receiving a listing of many related materials that the instructor can peruse. So if you're interested in that, if you were to go to, let me just type it in, Affordable Learning, I had this up earlier, I don't know what happened to it, learning, can't type, .org, I believe. Whoops, is there no internet? Well, we'll get there later. AffordableLearning.org, that'll get you. Let me just check and see if we've got internet up here. Oh, I did? Okay, sorry. Just verifying that we've got something. Okay, affordability. How did I misspell it? Affordability. Oh, sorry. AffordableLearning.org. Okay, we'll get there. Check on that for me, Fred, would you? Please. Okay, so the ISBN Finder is also an option, and if you go to our website, you'll find it under the Open Textbook option tab, and that will be a place to start to find OER in Merlot. All right, another option that we've talked about briefly earlier is the Cool for Ed site, and we're going to take a look at that. So I think we'll just jump forward into what we were going to do hands-on, and that is here to start out with all of you going to the coolfored.org site. So type in coolfored.org on your computers or your devices. Right. And what we have here is based on legislation that established this activity. It's also what TJ mentioned earlier, that's being funded by multiple entities. There is a course showcase of 50 courses, and we're not going to look at that. The e-textbook reviews, which is a unique activity with the California Open Online Library, are here. We're not going to look at that. Right now, we're going to go to Find. So click on Find. Oops. And go to Free and Open Textbooks, e-textbooks. It's connecting. And there we go. Okay. So the 8 categories that are here are the main categories in Merlot. So what I'd like you to do is find your discipline in one of these categories. So you, under Find, we were on Find. Cool for it. Let's just stick to the top group. It doesn't really matter. They're both going to Merlot. So you can select your discipline. So let's say I select Science and Technology. Then it's going to bring me to the open textbook selection for Science and Technology. And as you see, there are 1,300 results for open textbooks under Science and Technology, and then there are subcategories on the left side. So now you might be able to drill down to your specific area, such as chemistry, engineering. I know we have some health science people here, biology, and you can see how many numbers of resources of open textbooks are there. So go ahead and take a look. I'm clicking on chemistry. All right. So one of the features of Merlot, I just want to point out to you while you start looking for your resources, is that the author's information, the stuff that they have input when they uploaded the resource, is in the main part of the screen, but on the right side of the screen is where the peer review or input from others takes place. So you might be able to see reviews. You might see some discussions. Some people are adding these resources to their book collections. So at that point, you're getting a sense of the relevancy and the activity around some of these resources. I'm going to skip back up to Science and Technology and take a look at another one of the categories. I think it's biology. And so now we're seeing 174 resources for biology, and some of the activities, for example, this book, The Whole Brain Atlas, has been bookmarked 28 times by various folks who are users of Merlot. And so that might be an indication that it's a good resource. We don't have any ratings, no discussions around it. Same up here with Inside the Cell. How many bookmark collections and course e-portfolios are associated with that title? Yes?
As we have read on the second one you're trying to get to, you need to add the word solution behind the learning.
Oh, right. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Back to Merlot. I'm going to give you a few minutes to peruse your area, your discipline, and resources that you might find in Merlot this way. So you went from coolfored.org, which took you into the categories, and now it's taken you into specific areas in Merlot where you might find something in your field. Any questions? I'm going to give you a few minutes, and if you have any questions, I'll walk around. You can help. We can talk about that. So have you been able to find some resources? Yes? Okay. All right. Good. So someone pointed out that they ended up in a drill and practice. So as I mentioned earlier, there are about 66,000 resources in Merlot, covering a whole gamut of materials. So let me just show you, if you're at the home page in Merlot and you click on Search, there's an Advanced Materials Search option. And if you click on Advanced Materials Search, you will find under Material Type, the many different types of options you can locate in Merlot. And so one way to start for searching books is to do this, is just to select the open textbook option, and then to place your type your keywords. We just did principles of management, and click search. What did that say? One keyword, at least 3 characters of search word. I don't know what that is. That didn't come up on your search, did it? We'll just do management then. I don't know what that's about. Usually you can. Yeah, it finally came up. Good. Huh, that's strange. I've not seen that. Is anybody else seeing that kind of a message when they do a search? Please give at least one keyword of at least 3 characters. And so it's not recognizing. So I'm not on my computer. I don't know what the dealio is here. I'll just try management. Okay. What? Sorry? I don't know there's something strange about this computer. Oh well. So that is an option though. If you're looking for open textbooks, we just did it on, and I didn't catch your name. What is your name? Sorry? Farishte. We just did a search on Merlot for principles of management, the exact same way, and the titles came up. So then you can go from there to look for those titles, at the titles, to see if they are going to be of value for you in your course. Any questions about that, or any ideas that you found? Anything good there, bad? So? Yes, sir.
So if we found a resource on Merlot and we'd like our students to have access to it, can we put it on our Blackboard site and they can go to the Blackboard and get it?
Yes. So let me just see if I can get to something here. I don't know what the story is. I don't know why this is. Yes, you can take a link from Merlot and embed it in your Blackboard or your Canvas or your Moodle. So what it really is about is that in Merlot, that is just a catalog of resources, and then they redirect you to their website where the resource was created or is being promoted. And so, for example, I'll click on the e-marketing book that's here. This is an open textbook. And then it will take me to their site. Will give us some more information. And then I click on Go to Material. And then it'll take me to their site. And then you can sometimes deep link directly into the book if there's only one chapter you're going to use. Or additional information could be available there as well. Okay? So I wanted to take a moment and talk to you about, since we're looking at textbooks, the OpenStax college books. You've heard us mention those. Your lanyards, how many of you have looked at, plugged your lanyard in on your computer and noticed that the OpenStax textbooks are there? All the PDFs are on your lanyard. So OpenStax, and I have some examples up here. As TJ mentioned earlier, have been created to provide students free access to resources. But I purchased the print copy just to show you all that they are large and nicely created resources. These are by California authors, faculty, the stats book and the physics book. And they're being adopted throughout the state, as TJ said. We've got economics, there's biology. I don't have all of them up here. I have them out on the table. I wanted to give you a story, though, about how the bookstore is part of our project, in that at Humboldt State, several faculty have adopted the sociology book. So the bookstore is carrying the print version now in the bookstore for those students who don't feel comfortable using digital. And they're selling more of this book than they ever sold of the previously assigned book. So students can get access to a print version. I have these books loaded on my iPhone in the iBooks version of my iPhone, so if I really wanted to, I could read off of that, or a student could do that as well, or the student has the option of purchasing a print copy as well. And so many of the bookstores will provide resources for print for students at a reduced cost if they want to print an OER, as was mentioned earlier. If you are interested in looking at some of the OpenStacks, we'll put them back out on the table out front, and you can take a look at any of these that might pertain to your discipline or in what you're teaching. Okay? All right, so I've shown you 2 ways, or 3 ways you can find open textbooks. One of them is via the the ISBN Finder, which is on our website as affordablelearningsolutions.org, under Find Open Textbooks Related to a Book, and that's where the ISBN Finder is. And we have other finders there as well. You can do it you can search for keywords, and on some of the other sites we have ability to search under other criteria as well. So that's one of the resources that I provided you. And then we've looking at the coolfored.org site, and under Find, free and open e-textbooks, and scrolling, finding your discipline, and then that drills into Merlot very quickly. And if you're on the website for Merlot, you can also click on the search button and find the advanced search feature, and it's sometimes a little slow, and then drill down by selecting the category that I showed you earlier. So now we're really slow. All right, so those are some of the tools of finding OER, finding OER. And then another option is Google searching. And this was something that Diego Bonilla from Sac State, professor, introduced at one of the course redesign workshops we had up recently in Sacramento. And so these are some keywords that you can put into Google to find resources as well. And so part of it would be putting Creative Commons, because that usually indicates an open textbook, in parentheses, and then open textbook in parentheses, not parentheses, in quotes. Also using the in title feature, in title colon with the keyword microeconomics, and then even drilling down as far as going to advanced or introduction. So here are some examples of some ways that you can search in Google for open resources as well. So using the quotation marks, putting in some of these key features, keywords, will also help you in your discipline areas. Anybody trying that? Why don't we take a few minutes to try that as well? To type in Creative Commons in quotes, then open textbook in quotes, in title, colon, with the keyword also in quotes. See what you get, or whatever your discipline is. Yeah, I've posted them in Cafe Learn. Yeah, specifically these steps, these 4 steps, yeah, and I'll post the entire thing afterwards. So I copied and pasted the Creative Commons open textbook in title colon microeconomics, and here's BC Campus, which is what TJ referred to earlier, some of their resources, and then many more. Something from OER Commons. So there are a lot of catalog sites available for OER. Did you have any luck with that? Do I see any nods?
I just put that up in the chat.
Okay, great, thank you. All right. Okay. So that's another strategy for finding OER. And since we're running short of time and it's lunchtime, I'll show you the other one, the last one, and that is just a list of all of the portals or repositories that are available We mentioned many of these already today. BC Campus is up there, Open Textbook Library, the consortium. One that has not been mentioned and is fashioned after the CSU's Affordable Learning Solution Initiative is Affordable Learning Georgia for the Georgia state system. They've also identified 50 courses and books for those courses. They're not peer reviewed like ours are in Cool for Ed, but that could be a really great resource. University of Minnesota is also listed here, and they have a really nice resource, and TJ mentioned that earlier as well. Okay, so we've looked at several different ways to find OER, and the reason why I'm bringing this up several times is because after lunch, I believe you're going to be going back into your groups and you're going to spend time searching and then for some of these resources, talking about them amongst yourselves, sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly, what you think you might or might not use, and then possibly be able to have those as takeaways for your coming semester. And just a quick picture of the Affordable Learning Solutions site, and that this is where we have all these resources located, from the free textbooks links to lower cost materials, which is the Rent Digital information as well, and the custom publishing that I mentioned earlier, access or information about library resources, and accessibility is very important. Someone asked that question, and we're funding quite a bit of reviews for accessibility as we speak for the open textbooks and that are in Cool for Ed. And last but not least, and sorry, I get shifting between microphones, I wanted to just point out that 22 of the 23 campuses are participating in ALS. So every one of your campus has except for the one that's not participating, and I don't think anybody's here from there, has an ALS coordinator. Naomi is a coordinator, so Monica over here is part of the coordination. Lynn Toshiro, raise your hand, or you might all know Lynn. She's from Sac State. We've got Monica Munoz from San Francisco State, and any other coordinators that I missed. So the idea is we provide grants of $20,000 to $30,000 every year for these coordinators and the committees that they form that include the bookstore, accessibility, the DSPS group, faculty, students, et cetera, to define how they're going to help faculty and students become more aware of the OER options that are available and or Rent Digital and all the library resources as well. So the funding goes to stipends for faculty to discover, and some of you mentioned today that time is an issue and funding for that would be nice. So many campuses are funding faculty for that. They're also providing workshops and a recognition event that's required as well. So you could go to the site and find your campus and find and locate who your coordinator is, and then also some of the resources that are already there. All right, so I'll come around during the afternoon after lunch to your rooms, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to help you search. Yesterday I did find we have a special Teaching Commons site with Ollie's OER for nursing, so we do have some specific stuff as well in it that I haven't showed you right now today. All right, so I guess we're off to lunch.
Yeah.
All right.